Hi everybody, you're listening to the Khandaan podcast by the You Podcast team, a bi-weekly podcast revisiting the movies of Amir Khan, Salman Khan and Shahrukh Khan.
Every show we pick a random year from 3 decades of collectively 300 films the Khans have done and let our listeners vote which movie we should talk about. So it's entirely up to you.
Pick a team, make a vote, take us down nostalgia lane, punish us, or make us reassess a movie we dismissed.
We love the Khans, most of us, sometimes. And we would love for you all to be part of our Khandaan, because when it comes to the Khans in Bollywood, nothing else really matters.
I think it's one of those like old Nawab features that he talks like he still has a pan in his mouth, you know?
It could be a number of things, but I must say that when it comes to literature and writing, the man is a genius. I don't think anyone can ever beat him, and I think he's fab at that.
I don't know, man. I think one person is on his level at the moment, and that's Badshah.
Nice segue.
Lyrical gems, man. Lyrical gems that he's dropping. Did you guys hear the new song that he did with the Sheher Ki Ladki?
I heard like half of it, and then it was like of all the remake songs that we've had, like we've been blessed with in the past year or so, like this is probably the most thakeli version that I've heard. Like it's so low energy, I don't get it.
Yeah, Sheher Ki Ladki is like terrible, like totally useless and redundant. Like why? Like he doesn't add anything to the song, and I think we're supposed to get happy that Raveena Tandon shows up, but now that we know that she's a bigot, it doesn't even make me happy anymore.
Yeah. It's completely forgettable and disposable and pura chai company, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't actually get to that part where Raveena shows up. Like, that's news to me. Like, I stopped halfway around because I just couldn't do it.
Oh, spoilers, Amrita.
शहर की लड़की शहर छोड़ के गांव भाग गई है फिर से after hearing this. Like I was really not a fan. I mean, I love Aakmare. That's one of my favorite remixes right now. But I don't know, something was missing in Sheher Ki Ladki. I just thought
everything.
Talent was missing in Sheher Ki Ladki. Oh, it's so bad. And like poor Sunil Shetty shows up with like a David Beckham haircut from like 16 years ago or something like that. It's so bad. And then he has this new song, Coca, and then he has another one, Pagal.
I still, I don't know. Like, I think with Badshah's music, like his songs, I think it's his songs which really kind of bring in the audience because they're very catchy. The numbers are very peppy and upbeat. So I think sometimes it's also that as well. Not so much the lyrics, which are Oscar-worthy, but I think it's the actual beats of the music, the kind of compositions that they are. I think that's what sort of contributes towards his success, I feel.
But Anuj, Saturday Night was a hit. You know, like Crazy Frog was a hit. I'm Blue is a hit. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, it's not... Badshah is that level. He's the Crazy Frog of rapping in India. You know?
I didn't know that Asim was like a secret Badshah fan until now. Like he's like has so many passionate opinions about this. I'm just like, wow.
I just love how Amrita enunciated and pronounced the word passionate in like such a lustful way. I was like, wow. I was like, is this a Badshah person nahi hai kya, Amrita?
He's fine, but I definitely haven't done a deep dive into him the way Asim seems to have.
Oh, Amrita, before you get like behind Badshah, he's from Gurgaon. So fucking beware.
Mera neighbor tha.
Let's get the show started. Anuj, thanks for joining us on Khandaan. Your first appearance. How awesome is this?
I love it. I know. I'm already having a great laugh with you guys. Like it's great. I love it.
So Anuj, you're like a big deal in the UK. Like for the people that don't know from the UK, where do you write? Is it now FilmeShilmy? That's where your main blog at the moment?
It's FilmeShilmy. That's my main blog. That is my baby. And yeah, it's been really great fun actually working on it. And obviously meeting you, Asim, at events and, collaborating with a lot of people, interviewing a lot of people. So it's been really great. God has been really kind.
So me and Anuj, we meet up at these press junkets that happen far and few in London. And Anuj is there with like positivity and like, like motivation and good research questions. And I just come in with cynicism, hate in my heart, frustration, and we get along every time we meet. So it's.
I mean, in Thanos' words, you got to maintain the balance between the two, right?
Yeah. Like it's fire and water, man. It's Game of Thrones. I'm Khaleesi,
You know why I'm laughing? I'm laughing because I have no idea who that is, but I just thought I'd laugh. That sounds funny.
It's good, man.
So you, Anuj, you are the Rakhi Sawant in Game of Thrones.
यार इतनी इज्जत मुझे दे दी आपने आपके चरण
I do feel validated, man. I do feel validated that people laugh even if they don't get my joke. It's fine. It's fine. That's my life.
Because I just don't watch Game of Thrones. Like,
Yeah.
I think Bollywood में अभी चल रहा है सब कुछ Game of Thrones ही चल रहा है अभी.
Yeah.
It's a circle of fire that's happening right now. But yeah, it's great to be here though. I'm really glad it's finally happening.
Let's get started because we have tons and tons of to talk about. We've got trailers, we've got news, we've got gossip because we've got Anuj here. And then our main review is going to be Phir Bhi Dil Hindustani, which won the poll. And I was kind of excited to watch this movie. I don't know about you guys, Sujoy?
Yeah.
Were you excited to revisit it?
Sujoy is like, who, me?
Sujoy is like, I'm on a podcast. Like, what's up?
आज कौन सा बार है? So I had watched this like initially on initial release at the theater when it came out in the year 2000. Was it in 2000? And like stop derailing me, Amrita. Yeah, I was totally hyped about this movie when it came out just because of those two songs, Banke Tera Jogi and the title track. And the movie just turned out to be like a mix max, like a jumble of all sorts of things that amount to nothing. And on revisiting it, no, it didn't change. I mean, I guess the relevance of the topics that it's talking about is quite, it's heart-wrenching because, we live in a post-truth world. But it's not a good movie.
Okay. So that's our podcast, guys.
Thank you for tuning in.
This was fun. Let's go eat the omelets now.
Oh dear.
Amrita, were you at least looking forward to it or not? I mean, the soundtrack is pretty good.
I remember this being not very good, so not really. I actually thought Mohabbatein would win, but
I really thought Mohabbatein would win. Like, I wanted to talk about Bhutni Aishwarya,
So, who was the second, the runners-up on the poll on this episode?
Yeah, Mohabbatein came a close second, but like Phir Bhi Dil Hindustani just ran with it. It had hundreds of votes.
So, who are all these fans of Phir Bhi Dil Hindustani that are voting? I guess.
Well, drop us an email at youpodcasting@gmail.com in any case. But let's get into it. Oh, next week's topic is going to be cops. The Khan Cops Khan, So it's going to be, like, top of my head, I think Sarfarosh is going to be in there.
Aitihasik 1-2 ka 4.
1-2 ka 4. Was he a cop in Badshah or was he not a cop in Badshah?
He was a detective in Badshah.
Yeah, he was a private detective. So that doesn't... There's only one movie in which he's been a cop, and that's 1-2 ka 4.
Okay, and Dabang is obviously going to be in there. Maybe Patthar Ke Phool should be in there. Garv, yeah, Sallu has a lot of cop movies. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dabang is literally the flag bearer of toxic masculinity. Like, literally, that film is, oh my god.
Dabang is the toxic... I don't know, man. I don't agree with that.
Asim ki dukhti rag.
Yeah. Especially if Kabir Singh just came out. You can't give that award to Dabang now, man. All awards go to Kabir Singh.
Oh my god, don't even get me started on that film. I mean, literally from that one scene where he literally at the knife point threatens a woman to take off her clothes because he obviously was getting horny. I just could not watch the film. I think it was an absolute disgrace to what Bollywood films are offering in today's day and age. And I say this, I mean, I was even watching the director's interview with Anupama Chopra, and I was absolutely frightened to hear a man to such an extent who was being so horrible even about another fellow journalist, which is obviously Rajiv Masand. He described him in a very condescending way just because of the fact that Rajiv actually very respectfully slated the film. But he was so horrible about it, and I was just so, I was disgusted by it, to be honest.
I mean, in his head, he is Kabir Singh, right? He is the frustrated, one-sided lover who passionately loves everything and who will hit you if he loves you, and he seems to have validated that sort of love in his head, and he's made it on screen, and he's we saw that tweet with him and Ram Gopal Verma, and no king surprise, them two will get along really well.
So you're referring to the film companion interview with Sandeep Reddy Vanga, which was a big thing last week, and it's been memeified. It's been trending and things like that. Lots of people have been making jokes about it and try to take it in a lighter manner. I think we've been sending each other jokes on DM for the whole week already. I didn't watch the interview because honestly I'm done with the movie. I think I've said what I wanted to say on it. I've seen Arjun Reddy. I have no interest in seeing Kabir Singh. I'm not a huge Shahid fan anyway, so I don't think it'll add anything for me. I didn't even bother watching the interview. I just watched the little snippets of it. Amrita, did you watch it, or are you like me? You're just done with it already?
Yeah, I'm done. He's gotten all the oxygen that he can get out of me. It's done.
Yeah. But
I have a question for you, Asim. Are you a bigger Shahid fan, or where in your fan base do you feature Shahid versus Shraddha?
Oh wow! These two are so terrible. They've done a movie together, haven't they?
Yeah, Heather.
See, I knew.
And Batigul.
And Tatigul.
Tatigul. I knew that was the one that I was thinking about. Yeah, Heather is not Shahid's movie. Let's just say that it's Vishal Bhardwaj movie.
And it's Tabu's movie.
Exactly, it's Tatigul is Shahid's movie. I think I like Jeremy Renner more than I like Shahid Kapoor.
Talking about Shraddha, did you guys see Psycho Saya?
Do you know what? This is going to sound really bad. I absolutely hated the song when I first heard it. I heard it second time and I was like, ew. Then third time I was like, And fourth time.
And that's exactly the Kabir Singh effect, You stay on with the toxic character for long and you develop this Stockholm syndrome. You are the Psycho Saya, Anuj.
I know. मेरे ex से पूछना पड़ेगा उसके बारे में.
I don't. It's a very weird. Well, actually, it's not. It's actually perfectly within the Telugu action wheelhouse for that song to come out. I've heard it in Telugu and I've heard it in Hindi, and it just sounds completely generic the way all those songs sound in Telugu.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but it's also like Anuj says, it takes a while, but then it's not that it's good. It's just that it puts a hook in your brain, and then you're just remember it.
Yeah, it's a very catchy song, and I think it's definitely gonna rank in millions and millions of views. Especially given the fact that Prabhas is in there, and he's not even lip syncing properly to the.
I know. Prabhas is I've seen Prabhas dance before, and he's actually a really good dancer. But in this one, he's not even trying. He's just
Question for Amrita: Does this song belong in the Mahesh Babu movie?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
I like Mahesh Babu, by the way. I think he's great.
You like who?
Mahesh Babu. I think he's great.
Yeah, I love Mahesh Babu.
I love. देखा कितना प्यार आया था अमृता को. Did you hear that way? She's like love. Like इतना मतलब हवस निकल रही थी.
Tapak tapak ke. Like he's like my one like.
One true love.
No, he said that one crush that you have that you just can't explain or defend to anybody. Like,
अमृता तुझे तो प्यार हुआ है पगली. तुझे तो प्यार हुआ है पगली. तुझे प्यार हो गया.
I think that's why Mahesh Babu wears all of these layers, right? To protect from Amrita's havas that's tapakri everywhere.
So we call him Maxi Layer Mahesh because he just wears like 5 million layers in like the most inappropriate places. Like he'll be at the beach, everybody else will be wearing like a bikini or shorts, and then go up a scarf, a t-shirt, a shirt, an overcoat, like boots, and like pants, and you're just like, what the hell is happening? But yes. Maxi Layer Mahesh is my favorite.
Lots of trailers came out also this week, and a few teasers. Mission Mangal came out, which is a teaser. I don't know if we should go in it. We should maybe wait for the trailer and then talk about it.
Yeah, people on Twitter are already joking about the poster, right? With one side is completely given to Akshay Kumar and all the ladies responsible for the mission and who the story is actually about are given the left side of the poster and all of that.
I mean, he's been through this with the Padman too, and I guess with the toilet and all that things too, right? Like, so it's nothing new for Akshay. And I think it's maybe also just speaking to his audience now, you know, his audience maybe wants him on the poster. It's also in the teaser, it's the first shot is Akshay. It's, you know, like it's a rocket and then Akshay. So, you know, they're putting these two things together like a phallic symbol.
But
my phone Googling what phallic means. Oh, literally, I was like, shit, what does this mean?
Anuj, you also liked Butler House, right?
ये सब तमाशा कैसे हुआ?
सर वो सिर्फ मेरे ऑर्डर्स फॉलो कर रहे थे
और ऑर्डर्स सिर्फ इन्वेस्टिगेट करने के थे, गोलियां बरसाने के नहीं।
सभी के सभी बेकसूर विद्यार्थी थे और एक फर्जी एनकाउंटर था।
अभी तक इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग ऑफिसर को सस्पेंड नहीं किया गया है। संजय कुमार इज अ मॉन्स्टर।
केके को गोली कैसे लगी?
उन लड़कों ने मारी। Why are you asking me that?
Yes, I did. Do you know why I'm really, really excited for Butler House? Because I really like John. I've actually had the pleasure of interviewing him quite a few times, and he's so lovely. And the main actress of that film is Monal, and she's a very, very dear friend of mine. And I'm just so happy for her that she's coming in a film with Hrithik Roshan tomorrow, and now she's coming with John Abraham. So on that basis, I'm very excited for her. Yeah.
So yeah, you're biased. We cannot take your opinion seriously on this. If you know these people, if you know John, can you just ask him to stop killing Muslims on screen? Because I'm kind of getting tired of it. I'd really appreciate, like, just DM him. Like, this is like the 7th movie in a row, and that's my thoughts on Butler House. It's like, how many cool ways can we kill Muslims? You know, like, I've seen like 30 movies of it. I don't care if they're like terrorists or they're not terrorists, but stop killing them. It's fine. Like, figure it out, you know, like there's other ways to show your nationalism. That trailer annoyed me. I hate Nikhil Advani. He should stop making movies, just do production house. He's not made a good movie since I don't even remember. I've not seen D-Day. I'm not interested in seeing D-Day. That's the only one people come up with. Patiala House was terrible. He didn't direct Kal Ho Na Ho. I stay with that theory. And that Butler House looked like a racist piece of shit.
Asim is like jumping up and down, going like, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Yeah, exactly. It's like first Badshah, now Butler House. I'm like getting all psycho saiya because of this.
Well done, Asim. Well done.
Like उसकी भड़ास निकल
या अभी और निकलेगी और मेरी टपकेगी नहीं
कूद के निकलेगी
कूद के Sujoy, did you even see the Butler House trailer?
Nope, didn't bother.
Good. Amrita, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't really understand what was happening. Like
Yeah.
it seemed like every other film that John has been in. You're right. Like it seemed like what was that film? The one that was set in Sri Lanka,
Romeo,
Madras
Bobby,
Cafe.
Johnny. Oh, right.
Madras Cafe.
Okay.
Madras Cafe. Yeah, it seemed to have that vibe to it. But then I saw it once and I was like, "Achha, theek hai." And then
Yeah.
yeah.
I was going to write like a whole tweet about Butler House, but then I just deleted it because I was like, I'm so bothered by it. Like, how many has he done now? You know, like it's insane to me. Like, and then he has this like speaking of toxic crap, Satyame Vijayati. What the hell was that about? You know, it's like straight up fascism, man. I don't like this shit. It annoys me. It's really like it annoys me. Go ahead.
Which is what was that? Was that the movie that John did?
Yeah. Satyame Vijayate. I think that's what it's called.
So a few years ago, I remember John saying that, like apparently Akshay told him that he'd had a success of some kind with like some movie, like an action movie. I can't remember which one, but Akshay told him that this is your like sweet spot. Like you need to capitalize on this. And I think he just really took that to heart and he started making like all these hardcore actioners. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. But I don't see how it's working for him. Like, they don't seem to be big successes, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're just giant successes. I'm just not watching them.
I think it was Force you're talking about. Probably that was his. Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah.
But
That was a Mahesh Babu movie, right?
Was it?
Yeah, it's a remake of a Mahesh Babu movie, if I'm not wrong.
No. It was Surya.
Yeah. Anyway, what's next?
Which other trailers there? Jabariya Jodi or whatever it's called.
Oh my god.
Oh, that.
That's an honest reaction.
बिहार में 3 तरह से जोड़ियां बनती हैं बाबू. हिम्मत वालों की अरेंज जोड़ी, किस्मत वालों की लव जोड़ी और दहेज के लालचियों की
भैया मर जाएंगे लेकिन नहीं करेंगे.
जबरिया जोड़ी.
I want that movie to do well because like I like Pariniti. Like she's still very like likable to me.
Same here.
But seriously though, like she should be doing better movies. Like it just looks like a rehash of a movie that she's already done, made by people who are trying to rehash a formula that's already been made 100 times.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
Looking at Siddharth Malhotra trying to do the Bihari accent is just
It's really painful,
Well, okay,
right? It's really.
Who has the worst Bihari accent? Is it Sid Malhotra or is it Hrithik Roshan?
Oh,
Shahid Kapoor.
Jeremy Renner.
But yeah, I think Hrithik's oh god, Hrithik's
It's worse, right?
Yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I also watched Sanki Ank. Did you guys watch that?
No.
No,
the
I
trailer
need to
came out
watch
for
that.
that.
The teaser.
Is it what?
The teaser. I think it's the teaser that just released today, right?
Yeah.
I haven't.
I still don't understand why they put like Tapsi and Bhumi and like old lady makeup when they could have just like cast like older women to play those parts and then kept like Bhumi and Tapsi to play like the younger counterparts. But sure, all right.
I mean, I think it's actually a really good thing, to be honest, because I mean, if you remember when Saranj came out, I think Anupam Kher he was playing an elder man's character, but he himself wasn't actually that old. But I think it's actually great that Tapsi and Bhumi have been casted in those roles, because that will really truly showcase their talent as actors, because we'll be able to see how much they'll be able to carry off a role which is obviously thrice their age. So I think it's actually a really interesting decision that's been taken to actually cast them both.
I guess that makes sense for their career. I just don't see how it's serving the film.
Yeah, I've seen the still of the poster when it came out, and I recently saw a still on, I think, Anurag's Facebook page or something, and it just, the makeup and the hair makeup, the wig, it just looks terrible, and I think it will be acting as a very big distraction, and it will take away from the experience of the movie rather than, yeah, it just feels like a very big misstep. I think I initially tweeted they could have cast somewhere, I think like a Neena Gupta or I don't know,
Shabana
Deepthi Naval, Shabana, Deepthi Naval.
And I think a lot of people are also talking about it because there's a lack of roles for these women, the Dimple Kapadias and the Shabana Azmis and stuff like that. So having the younger people play that and then have a transition to older actresses would have made sense. I've not seen the trailer, so I don't really know. But Anurag Kashyap is hit and miss anyway, right? So let's see what he does with it. I also don't think Taapsee and is it Bhumi, right? They don't have anything to prove. They everybody knows they're very talented actresses already. So I mean, I think these kind of dramatic, it helps. Actors like this kind of stuff. They think that they can pull it off. And I think the makeup artists feel that they can pull off the makeup, but I don't know. I've not seen the trailer, but I doubt that they can. I'm still having flashbacks of Kamal Hassan in was it Hindustan? Indian, yeah.
Yeah.
I did speak to Taapsee actually about her experience on the film, and somehow I actually do feel she will be able to pull it off. Even likewise for Bhumi. I think with Bhumi, she played a very rural character recently in Son Chiraiya. So I think that experience will definitely help her. And as for Taapsee, I think because she played a very fiery, feisty character, which was a complete difference to a typical girl next door character in Manmarzia, for example. So I think they've all kind of played characters beforehand, which I don't want to draw parallels between them because they're completely different, but that have that similar trait within these two of these characters in San Kiang. So I don't know. I'm very optimistic about it. In fact, I think it's great that we're seeing this because it takes guts to do such a role, right? I mean, it's not a simple thing which any other random actress could be able to pull off. So I do give them credit for at least trying and have at least taken it on.
I am looking forward to the film. I will say that.
It's based on some real story, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, sorry. Anuj, did you see the Jabariya Jodi trailer? Sorry, were you kind of went to...
Yeah, I did. Wrong gap of silence. So basically, I'm just going to say that I really genuinely like Siddharth and Pariniti's Jodi. As for the film, unfortunately, the trailer was not very strong. It did not come across as strong anyway. I mean, given that the duo, we loved them in Hasi To Hasi, I think that was a very interesting film, and I really loved the way they came across in that movie. And I was expecting a lot more, I think, given the fact that this is a very much a masala space, and it's colorful, it's Balaji, it's Ekta Kapoor's production. I think I was definitely expecting a lot more, but unfortunately, it's like one of those fireworks that just doesn't really take off. It just kind of fizzles out. But I guess, let's see what the film offers. I'm in love with one of the songs, though. It's the Khadke Glasi song, which I think Yo-Yo Honey Singh has kind of lended his greatness to. So I'm really liking that song. But no, apart from the trailer itself, it didn't really speak to me that much.
Even the visual style is so reminiscent of all other of these small town movies. They all kind of look the same to me. Lukka Chupi poster looks the same one. What was that movie, Lord Wedding, that came out? I don't know if it was a Pakistani movie or an Indian movie, but looks the same. They all look the same, man. It's all this band baja barat hangover that they still have.
I mean, to be very honest, and I'm glad you talked about Lukka Chupi, because that film, I was honestly, what on earth was going on in that film? I'm still questioning till today. I mean, I don't know how the hell it's made so much money. Besides the film being literally loaded remixes and a literal discourse about, live-in relationships. Honestly, I felt like I heard the word live-in so many times. It was just so ridiculous. I was like, you know what? If the two want to bang, let them bang. Why is everyone else making everything do about? I didn't understand why it was such a big deal. And I feel like in today's day and age, there are so many more other important issues that need to be tackled. For example, same-sex relationships, which I'm so happy at least Bollywood now is finally coming out with such narratives. Like, for example, Ek Ladki Ko Dekha released this year, and I'm so glad that there are mainstream Hindi films are now giving more, prominence to that. As for Dostana 2, however, I'm still quite skeptical because I'm sure you guys must have seen Kartik Aaryan's tweets, right? Where he was like, Maada Ladla bigadne wala hai, or something like that he wrote on Twitter. And I just find it so highly objectionable that they think that if you're gay, then it's like, oh my God, like, it's kind of showing that, you've gone wrong, you've been led astray when homosexuality is extremely natural. Like, we were born gay, I was born gay. So, I just think, I really hope that at least films will be a bit more sensitive now as well.
The problem with that and with Ek Ladki Ko Dekha, and I was reading the review by Anavetikad on Super 30. Intentions are good, but you need more talent and skill to actually make these movies good. Otherwise, they won't. And I think that's one of the problem for Ek Ladki. It just wasn't that good of a movie. And I hope that they can, these new ones that they have announced, or Dostana 2, or I think even the second part of Shubh...
Shubh Mangal Zyada Saavdhan.
Yeah, that one. I think even that's about that, so...
That's going to be amazing. That's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that one. Now, that's one film I can put my money on. That's going to be amazing. I mean, Ayushmann Khurrana is nailing it right now with the sort of style of films he's choosing that are very socially relevant, but yet has the exterior of the mainstream space. And I think it's fantastic. Like, I know this might be a big statement to make, and I know many people might object, towards it, but for me, I think Ayushmann is actually the Amir Khan of today. Like, I love the sort of films he's picking up. I love the fact that he's not a loud actor. He's very subtle with what he does, and I think he's amazing. So I'm definitely looking forward to Shubh Mangal Zyada Saavdhan. So.
Amrita, how many Amirs is Ayush?
No, Ayushmann is like so much more bearable. Like I can actually sit.
The question was, how tall is Ayushmann?
How many Amirs is Ayushmann tall?
He's at least 4.5.
4.5 Amirs.
Oh dear.
How about judgmental है क्या?
हम पुलिस वाले दुनिया का काटते हैं, ये दोनों मिलके हमारा काट रहे हैं। मर्डर इन दोनों में से एक ने तो किया है, मगर चार्ज क्या लगाएंगे?
क्या है इसमें?
बड़बोली है, अतरंगी है, हीरोइन की तरह कपड़े सिलवाती है।
I thought it's called Mental hai kya? Did they change the name of it?
Yeah. Judgmental hai kya? Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
They changed it.
Because it was getting a bit autobiographical name.
But also that's how they start the trailer, right? There's like pagal hai, like kapde pehnti hai supermodel ke and all that. I was like, okay. I don't know. Kangana is a tough topic, yaar. Like, it's the thing is, she's a horrible person, clearly, but I still like her on screen. I think there's something about her. Like, I
think at this point, this is her marketing idea. Like, you sell the movie by being a shitty person, by talking shit all across town and putting everybody down, and then just make the movie.
I mean, there has been this pattern actually that I think many people have noticed, is that whenever it comes to a film and promotional sort of campaigns and stuff, controversies are brought out. I mean, you guys remember that whole big expose that happened on was it Aapki Adalat, before Simran came out, where she obviously spoke about her affair with Hrithik Roshan, all of that. So it's interesting you mentioned that, Sujoy, because I think it's true. Like, I've noticed it as well. Like, every time a film is about to release, she does bring out these hot topics and, kind of focuses on those. I don't know why, but yeah.
When you think that all this could have been avoided if Hrithik had just been like, we dated, didn't work out, and just gone on with his life.
Right, that's actually really true. And I think this is a very valid point you've made there, Amrita. Like, honestly, because mistakes happen. Like, obviously, if if an affair happened, which is what reports and stuff are saying, and what Kangana herself has said, I don't understand why there is this sharam ka parda about it. Because
I know what it would have resulted. It would have ruined Rangoli's career as Kangana's publicist, because she wouldn't have anything else to write about.
But do you know what? At the same time, though, having said that, I mean, I know that obviously this is what she's doing and stuff, but at the same time, I thought she's not reacting without any, to any smoke without fire. Like, there's no smoke without fire, if that makes sense. So she's not obviously reacting really on her back.
I think at this point she is putting the fuel into the fire.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean,
I think in the beginning, I was 100% with her with all that Hrithik stuff and the Aditya Pancholi stuff and all of it, And I remember some of the stuff that was thrown her way, and it was just disgusting, and it was weird, all those things about how she practices witchcraft and how she does black magic and all that.
Oh yeah, Shekhar Suman and his son, right? Yeah.
What's his son's name? Adha Suman.
Adhyayan Suman. Yeah.
Adha Suman.
Adha Suman.
Black magic. Wait, what?
But this whole thing of calling women witches every time you find them too strong or too in your face or too unmanageable. It's a thing that happens in rural India. And I was so shocked when this happened with Kangana, because I was I did not think that in the 21st century, educated people from big cities like Bombay, they would say things like that, Shekhar Suman and his family. But then just 2 weeks ago, Pooja Bedi was in my mentions on Twitter of all things, trying to tell me this other woman who had she'd accused some actor that I'd never even heard of molesting her or something. And then everybody was oh yeah, she's a witch. She's confessed to it on TV or something. And Pooja Bedi was coming and saying you don't know, she's an actual witch. And I was are you insane? What the hell is wrong with you? These are the kind of things that come out when serious issues are discussed in India. This is the kind of clown show that you have to put up with. And so I'm totally on board with Kangana raising her voice against things like that. But then what you see right now with Rangoli, and I have to assume that Kangana gives Rangoli her head and says, go ahead and do this for me on my behalf. And Rangoli does weird shit. When she was calling out Taapsee. Taapsee said something nice about the trailer. She was just wow, this looks like a movie that I want to watch.
Mm.
And then Rangoli was oh, you didn't mention Kangana by name. This means you're jealous and you're petty and, you're basically a terrible actor who's just got Anurag Kashyap as a godfather and all this kind of stuff. And I was just what the hell is wrong with you? Why would you say that to somebody who's being nice about your own film?
And first of all, she didn't even debut with Anurag Kashyap film in Bollywood. She debuted with a Dhairya Dhawan film, which was Chashme Badshah.
Yeah.
I don't know where she got the idea from that Anurag Kashyap is her godfather and all. And to be quite frank, I think Taapsee does not even need to emulate anyone. I think she's very good on her own. And she's proved with her performances, right? In Pink, even Manmarzia Mulk, she was great in as well. So, I don't know. I think what it is, I just think they're just trying to make the most out of it now. It's they're aadat se majboor. Because what will happen is if suddenly one or the other loses steam, right? It's just going to be oh, abhi ye quiet ho gayi hai. Nothing is coming out now. What's going on? So rather than kind of, disappearing into the abyss, they've just decided to just keep at it. And, that's just how, I guess.
I don't know, man. I have a slightly different take on this. Amrita, you mentioned, I've been Team Kangana for a long time, and I still kind of am to a certain degree, because I don't feel she needs to respect the Bollywood press at all. I think they're terrible. So I don't if she's just having screaming matches. I almost feel there's this kind of class issue, and I think maybe that's also where Hrithik didn't want to admit that he ever went out with Kangana. Like, it's like, I'm too posh and proper to ever go out with her. And, women should react to people in this way and not in this way. Rangoli shouldn't talk like the most thing I hear about Rangoli is what kind of language is she using? Like, she's not an actress. She can use whatever language she wants. Like, plus she's also like a survivor of a horrible attack. So there are like, like there's a way that you kind of go into attack mode when things like that happen. Not to justify anything that's happening, but I don't know, like the Dhakar posters look pretty cool. I was like, she's holding a gun. I'm in. Like, and she's like, she's clearly horrible to Muslims. She's clearly horrible to Pakistan. But I'm still like, yeah, sure, why not?
but one thing that I must also say is, I think what certain people, especially on social media, think is that what Kangana and Rangoli is tweeting and that whole thing is kind of veering into it becoming bullying. And I think, and I don't know to what extent that is. I'm not sure. But the thing is, if Kangana is speaking out, then surely something must have happened with her. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like you, Wasim. I'm also kind of Team Kangana too, because I genuinely love her. I think she's great on screen. I think she's great as an actor. But to what extent is this becoming bullying is also a subject that also needs to be discussed, I thought.
Also, Rangoli, you can just mute her. You can block her. You don't need to follow her. You know, like all of these things are there. These options are there. I don't know. And I must say, this does compact another problem that I had, because the topic we were talking about was the trailer of Judgmental, which also stars Rajkumar Rao. So he's like bichara chipkali ke tarah side mein baitha hua hai. Like, main kya karu miskeenon ke tarah, like it's just like she just overtakes all of the air, all of the space. And it doesn't leave anything for the movie. It doesn't leave anything for her co-actors, her writers, her directors. And I think people kind of push back against that a little bit too. I wasn't that excited by the trailer. I honestly was more excited to see what Kangana is going to do, what kind of craziness she's going to be doing in the movie.
Yeah, like Kangana's actually been very, like I've heard her speak about her process and about how she approaches a project. And I think if she finds like her groove, she must be amazing to work with, because she really does understand filmmaking as a collaboration. Yeah. And I think that's also the reason why she gets such a tough time in Bollywood, because people just expect the heroine hai, she'll come to the set and like, put on makeup and wear the pretty clothes and then just go home. And Kangana clearly doesn't do that. Like, she clearly like comes in and she like, collaborates with her team to deliver the best product that she can. I think that's why you see the quality in her work, and why the Queen was a success.
Somebody posted a small segment on Twitter. I don't know who it was, but it was an interview that she apparently did with Amir Khan, and Deepika was there, and I think Pariniti was in there too. And they were talking about how women get objectified in movies. And she was so eloquent and made such clear points. And she was so fearless, Kangana. Like, both the other two just look like Biggie Billies next to her,
So I'm looking at the Queen IMDb page, right? And she got writing credit for the dialogue in Queen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember she did like even rewrites. I think she did more, but she didn't get the credit at that time, because it was still not the Kangana we have now. It was still early Kangana. But apparently she did a lot of rewriting and a lot of reworking on the thing. So, I don't know her. I don't know. I think we also need to separate Kangana and Rangoli to a certain degree. I know. I'm sure that Rangoli gets her signs from Kangana maybe, but Rangoli is just running with it, and I don't follow Rangoli, and I mean, if she really annoys you, don't follow her, mute her. I think this idea of it's bullying and this and that, and like I'm reading somebody on Twitter that says it's open season on film critics. Like, come on, guys. It's not open season on film critics. Like what kind of like snowflake bullshit is this? Like, film critics, film journalists, grow a spine, man. Like,
yeah, like that's what, like somebody pointed out, like Salman has been saying much worse to film critics over the years. And like the Film Association of like, or the Film Journalists Association has had boo to say about it,
Yeah.
But like this happens with Kangana and they're just like, oh, like can't do it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're in this industry that you've chosen to be in, like, grow a spine, man. Like, if you have the balls to ask really awkward questions, if your publisher has the balls to take cleavage shots from actresses and post it, like, then somebody's gonna catch you on it. It doesn't like nobody's doing high quality film criticism here.
And I think it's a very valid point you've made there as well, Asim, because I feel like, especially us journalists, there is a very, we have to be very responsible because our position is as such. We are delivering news, quality, reliable news, factual news for one, to the public. So I feel, especially, but what it is sometimes it's not even the journalists themselves to be blamed. I feel it's the people in power behind them who give the orders and say, go pursue the story. So it's them who are also to be majorly blamed, because sometimes the thing is, it might not even be, a journalist might not even want to do it, but the fact that their boss demanding them to do it, that's the difference. So I think it's a very valid point that, journalists actually take responsibility for the type of news that they actually pursue.
I think this is a good segue to our main review, which is Phir Bhi Dil Hai Hindustani.
पहुंचे आदमी पशु पक्षी वहां पहुंच जाए अजय बख्शी फ्रॉम KTV लड़कियों किस मी कोई हीरो यहाँ.
So this movie was directed by Aziz Mirza. It stars Shahrukh Khan, obviously, and Johnny Lever, and who else?
Hi, Juhi Chawla.
Yeah, I was gonna name her the last because she's the most important person in this movie. This was I think this was the first movie or one of the first movies that their original production house, I think it was called Dreamz Unlimited, they produced it. It was Shahrukh, Juhi, and Aziz Mirza. And the famous story goes that this movie flopped so badly that they were all just crying at the table when they saw the first collections of this movie. And I think they did Ahsoka, which we reviewed last time, didn't we? That was also... You loved Ahsoka? Okay. And I think they did Chalte Chalte also, which was kind of a moderate hit. But it didn't last long. They disbanded. And then Shahrukh started with the Red Chilies. I'm not even sure if a lot of people have actually seen this movie. So I'm going to just give a quick plot summary from IMDb. It says, in order to seek justice for a man who exacts vengeance on a politician who was responsible for his daughter's death, two rival reporters team up to help him to prove his innocence. That's written by King on IMDb, and it's this movie was not a hit. But Amrita, let's go to you first maybe. Do you think the topic we've been talking about, like what news media has become and, chasing the story, fake news, all of these elements are in Phir Bhi Dil Hai Hindustani. Do you think this movie was kind of like a oracle of times to come? Or is it kind of more of a time capsule of the time that was, and we've moved so far away from the environment that it shows in this movie?
I think it's two things. It's like, one thing is like it's visionary. Like this is a movie that kind of stands out in the fact that I don't think we've had another such movie that just really looks into the role of media in Hindi film. I'm trying to think if there's been anything since this.
Run. I remember that one. Yeah, there's been
Run. Yeah, that was the one. Yeah.
page 3, if you're looking at the celebrity side of things, page 3, yeah.
Yeah, but that was really looking at the corporate side of things, whereas like this is really looking at like the reporting side of things, you know, and like
there might be a Madhur Bhandarkar movie called Reporter.
There was Noor as well, wasn't there? Sonakshi Sinha's film.
Noor came out, yes, but those are all like in the past 10 years or so.
Yeah.
When did Run come out?
Well, Run came out 2010, and Noor came out in 2017, I believe.
Yeah, Noor was a much more recent one. But like around the time that this movie came out, like this was about like what, 5, maybe 4, 5 years since the like after India began like having these 24-hour news networks modeled on CNN and stuff like that, and it was still it hadn't become what the scene is today, but it was building towards that. And this movie really saw it. Like this movie really saw the competition, the manufacturing, and the production of news.
The alliance between politics and media.
Yeah, it saw all of that.
Yeah.
So that and all is like really, really good. But the thing that really struck me was like towards the climax of this film, where so the IMDb description is correct in that there is a man, Paresh Rawal, who is on death row, and then Shahrukh and Juhi, who are rival reporters, need to save his life. And they basically go to the public and tell the public the reasons why Paresh's character did what he did. And then they try to use public sentiment and like sort of get the public involved and to stop this execution. And the thing that they got right is that in India, there is a phenomenon in which public sentiment can be used to influence the outcomes of specific cases. And I'm thinking of like, what was it? Sujoy, you know the ones that I'm talking about, right? The one that was Jessica, what's her name?
Jessica Lal.
Yeah, the Jessica Lal case and stuff like that, where you have people literally coming on the road and, you have the candlelight visuals or whatever, and then you get like public sentiment is so immense that the government really needs to pay attention, and the legal system needs to pay attention, and you can see that it basically affects the outcome of those legal cases. But what the movie doesn't get is like, that is not how like systemic change happens, and that is not how systemic change happens in India. Otherwise, things would have changed. But we're still talking about the same things that this movie was talking about 20 years ago. Nothing has changed, things have only gotten worse. So I think that this is a movie that sees some things really clearly, but it ultimately gets the big picture a bit fuzzy.
And I think I'd just like to add as well, I completely agree. I think your summary is absolutely spot on, Amrita. I also feel that whilst it's great that we're seeing such a, I would say for that time, quite a different angle for a mainstream masala film, I feel somehow the kind of subplots, the kind of humor and the so-called entertainment quotient kind of undermines the actual seriousness of what the film is trying to convey. And after watching it in recent times, it just seemed a bit too larger than life. Like, it was too heroic. It was a bit too Bollywoody. It didn't need to be. I mean, I don't know, maybe because those times were different and that's exactly how cinema was made. But I think had a film like Phir Bhi Dil Hindustani was made now, I think the whole approach and the whole angle would be different. For one, social media would have a huge role to play in this whole thing. But I think I just wanted to add onto what Amrita said about how I thought the humor and
it's the 2000s, so the beats that they need to follow to make a movie, there needs to be a dance song, the heist needs to go through a song, there has to be Johnny Lever, there has to be dialogue that kind of remind us of the Kader Khan era. So it plays to those beats, and that's where it loses actually. Otherwise, if you think about the concept of this movie, what it's trying to say, it's very, very visionary.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And also, rewatching it, I was thinking like Shahrukh really, like every time we hear about Shahrukh and Red Chillies, they always say how good of a producer he is. And that he really gives his all to a movie. And you can really see it because he's really working with his core crew. Like he's got Sharmistra Roy doing the art design. Farah Khan is doing the choreography. Aziz Mirza he's been working with for a long time. Santosh Sivan shot the movie, which he just, we did Ahsoka with and lots of other movies. And he really kind of tried as much as he could. But I think this movie was, it comes from a very hopeful place. And I kind of felt nostalgic when we still had hope. That that people would stand up. If only people knew the truth, they would stand up. But the reality is people don't stand up, only mobs stand up. And I think that reality has really hit us now. And it just made me sad in a way. Like, that innocence is gone.
True. I think it's a very thought-provoking film. In fact, I would love. I'm not a fan of remakes myself, but I would love to see a similar style of a film made in today's day and age. I think we need such movies. A film which uses the humor as a way to kind of, be a tongue-in-cheek representation of today's day and age. I think that's what we need. Because obviously media is obviously playing a huge role. In fact, a much bigger role, I believe, than ever. Because now news is accessible on the tip of our fingertips. On the tap of literally an app, it's always there. So I think it would be great to see if such a subject is explored in Bollywood today, and how it would come out. I'm very fascinated to see as well.
The other thing that I also felt about this movie is when it needs to show balls and guts, it doesn't do it. And the character of Paresh Rawal there is kind of the problem. But I don't know how they would have tackled it. But they start talking. They start telling us that he's a international terrorist or a foreign agent. And I imagine they want to say he's from Pakistan. I guess that's what they're trying to say. But because they're not saying anything, and it's just such a preposterous idea that this guy named Mohan Joshi could be an international terrorist. I don't know. The movie could just kind of felt like it wasn't making a point when it should be making a point on that part. I
disagree, but I think that was the whole point. That it was so ridiculous that this guy called Mohan Joshi would be like the Videshi hand international terrorist.
Yeah.
But they had no problems pushing that narrative. And we've actually seen that in India. We've seen people hold on to it for 16, 20 years in the courts, saying oh, this person is a terrorist, this person is clearly funded by whoever, Pakistan, or by I don't know who else. And then it turns out the guy was basically just a mistaken identity arrest, and the police didn't want to admit it.
Wow.
And 16 years of his life is just down the drain. So these are things that actually happen, and I think they were making a point with it. I don't think that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Anuj, what did you think of Shahrukh in this movie?
I think it was a very different role for him, because at that time we were seeing him mainly as the kind of romantic hero, in the sense that we were seeing him either as Rahul or Raj, or Raj Aryan in Mohabbatein, which obviously released in the same year. So I think it was very different for him to kind of play. I don't want to use the word patriotic, but I guess maybe as a person who is actively kind of, is participating in the role of media personnel. I think that was very different for his career at that time. But would I kind of class it as one of his most iconic performances? Probably not. But that's not to say that he still hasn't done a great job. I think he was really good in the film. But for me, I personally think that his performance in Mohabbatein was just better. Like, I loved him in Mohabbatein. So I think for me, his performance in Phir Bhi Dil was good, but I wouldn't say it's like the most amazing performance ever.
So this movie was made pretty much straight after Dil To Pagal Hai, Pardes, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. I mean, these were like massive hits. And it really solidified, superstar Shahrukh. And I'm just going through IMDb. He was working so hard at that time. He was like dropping 3-4 movies a year, like for the years following and the years before. Like, man, like that's work ethic, man. Whatever you say about the Khans, man, they do this. They put the work in, But yeah, it's I think he just wanted to, and it's always been like Shahrukh has always like tried to fight back against that Raj persona, the superstar persona, and I think he really wanted. This is where his heart was. But Sujoy, do you think if he hadn't gone as hard as he did against the media, because it is a very cynical view of the media, do you think that kind of like put people off, or the media off, to kind of give this movie a good review, or like?
No, I don't think so, because I don't think back in the day movie reviews mattered as much as the movie being good in the first place. And I think the movie itself fails on that measure. It's not exactly a good movie to watch. It's very like when I watch it, the one sentiment that I have, I get it what you're trying to do, but you're not really doing it in a way that it captures my imagination. It holds me to the seat or makes the scene work. It's just like a string of scenes put together, one small skit after another, and that they call as a movie. I guess that comes from what they did before this. So like Raju Ban Gaya Gentleman, Yes Boss, and this, and before that Aziz Mirza did television with Shahrukh. So I guess somewhere down the line, that sort of narrative style comes into what this movie eventually turned out to be, and that is what hampering this movie is, rather than the sort of content it's trying to project, or being media bashing, or being sarcastic about how the media in India is playing against politics or with politics.
Because I remember the title track when it came out, Phir Bhi Dil Hindustani, it was massive. Like it was such a big hit.
It was a viral video back in the day, like before the term viral was like coined, I suppose. It was playing on MTV and Channel V and everything, everywhere.
Was this the first time that like a Hindi film had a music video to like promote their film?
I guess so. I don't know. I exactly can't like
because I can't.
This is the
because I can't remember before this film. And like this is one of the things that I love about Shahrukh. Like he's such a marketing genius. Like he just knows exactly what to do at the right time.
Yeah. What I also really loved in this movie is obviously Juhi Chawla, but the character of Juhi that she's playing, what's it called? Riya Banerjee?
Yeah.
I love Riya Banerjee. Like, she should be like an icon, like an iconic character. Like, she's the one that asks for a raise. She's the one that asks for her worth in a business meeting. She is the one that, uses this small-time fake news channel to, get a better position. She's the one that, cheats Shahrukh and hustles and gets the big news story. She's the one that has the better I'm the best song. she has to do slapstick. She has to do a Sachin Tendulkar impression. She's doing a Shah Rukh Khan impression. She's doing a Chinese horrible racist trope, and she pulls it off, all of it. There is not a single. And honestly, I was thinking watching it that Juhi is an infinitely more talented performer than Shah Rukh is in this movie, at least.
Let's not forget that when Shah Rukh, in the heat of the moment, when they have lost the tape and Shah Rukh is really furious and he's going on about let's shoot again, Juhi's character Riya Banerjee is the one who's trying to empathize with what Mohan Joshi is going through, and she's the one to first calm down everybody.
That introduction scene is iconic. Like her, like with the big bindi, and then the sari. Like when the whole thing, like you pan out, and then she just like opens her kurta by like just like ripping it open, like, and then she takes off that giant bindi and like sticks it on that guy's face. Like, oh my god, I love that. Like, I laughed so hard.
Oh, मेरा घर बह गया. कहाँ गया? बहुत दूर जाना है. बहुत दूर जाना.
And the thing is, she pulls it off because for a moment you actually think she's like a proper journalist somewhere. Like, her performance is amazing. Like, you believe it, And then when the reveal comes, it's like, man, Riya Banerjee was fake news before Trump, man.
Yeah.
She's also like, the performance is amazing, her character is amazing, all of that, but also Juhi, man, like she's so perfect. Like, she just glows from within.
Luminescent. I wrote it down. Luminescent. She's like. And this was like peak Juhi. This was her moment. This was the moment she was like the top heroine. Like, there was no Madhuri at this moment. There was no Sridevi at this moment. It was just Juhi. She was like, samosa mein aloo at that time for the audience.
But having said that, Shahrukh got his like puppy-eyed moment. I think one scene where he nails it was, Juhi finds out about his half-eaten banana, and she says like, "Tum aadmi ho ya bandar?" And he says, "Tumko kya pasand hai?" And that was like, that's Shahrukh's zone.
Yeah, Shahrukh knows, man. Shahrukh knows how to like push the buttons. He can charm the crap out of everybody.
So like that entire sequence is amazing because he like that charm, like that patented like Shahrukh charm is full on, and then he knows like the part where he goes to her house and he's waiting, like he's like dragging out the moment for the reveal, and then he turns around and he knows that her mom is gonna love him. Like, it's Shah Rukh Khan. Of course, your mother's gonna love him. Like, it's so perfect, and they're so perfect together. Like, they're just so good together.
Anuj, were you team Juhi? Were you team Madhuri or team Sridevi back in those days?
I think my fascination was a lot with Aishwarya and Kajol, actually. I was very fascinated because I obviously grew up watching films like DDLJ.
Anuj is cancelled.
I think with Aishwarya, I was very fascinated with the way she did her yoga poses and tal. I remember when I was 5, I tried to emulate that. But having said that, I think Juhi was also, I think she was also kind of also there as well, in the background as well for me. But I think for me, it was mostly about Kajol and Aishwarya.
What did you think of Juhi in this movie then? She didn't do it for you?
Well, no, I think the thing that I love about Juhi Chawla is that all her characters, despite them having the exterior of a girl next door, they were very much breaking the glass ceilings. She wasn't your stereotypical love interest, if that makes sense. Her roles were never reduced to that. And I think that kind of trait has kind of carried out throughout her career in the sort of films she's chosen, especially honors films that she's gone on to do. But when Phir Bhi Dil Hindustani, I think she was amazing. Like, I love the fact that she just wasn't taking any crap from anyone, and I think that was superb. And they kind of, in a very, very weird way, kind of brought back memories of that Amir Khan film that she did. What was it called? The one with Mahesh Bhatt's movie. That she played a South Indian. What was that film called? I can't remember.
Hum Hai Rahi Pyar Ke.
Hum Hai Rahi Pyar Ke. Her character, Riya, reminded me so much of Vyajanti from that movie. It was almost like as if they were sisters in a very different setup altogether. And it was really interesting how I kind of found that similarity in both the characters.
Yeah, I think it was really kind of an equal partnership in this movie more than anything, which doesn't happen a lot in Bollywood. But it was really cool to see it in this one. Sujo, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to point out something really funny that I discovered in this rewatch that I had completely forgotten about, and that was when Juhi comes to see Shahrukh's place to hide the tape, and she finds all these naughty magazines.
Yeah.
And Shahrukh is trying to justify, these are Nangi Chachis, you know. I just lost it there.
I also didn't remember that, and then I literally wrote down my notes like porn cabin. Like I didn't remember.
Yeah,
I gotta admit, and people, you can take away my woke card, but I did laugh at that Chinese sketch too. I'm only half embarrassed because Juhi Chawla does say "Bina ka geet mala" in her Chinese, which
she says "Sansui Samsung Hyundai Papa ko dundo."
Oh
it's so wrong, but I laughed.
Oh my
Juhi
God.
just sold it, man. Like it's.
I'm not being funny, but after I laughed at it after I rewatched it. But I remember watching it when I was young, and that scene really freaked me out when I was a kid. Like, I don't know why. I never actually found that scene funny when I was a child. But now when I rewatched it, it was absolutely hilarious. Probably for the wrong reasons.
Yeah,
But it definitely did kind of tickle the funny bones.
Yeah, and Shahrukh is just speaking Italian from DDLJ. It's like, you know, like bastardo, nikal lo, you know, like it's quite funny. What did you guys think of Paresh Rawal? By the way, did you guys ever watch those Umar Sharif Pakistani stage shows back in the 90s? Did you ever like Bakra Kistope and stuff like that?
Yeah. That used to come in VHS tapes. Yeah.
Right. So in those stage shows, there always like a Buddha Bhaba that comes in and he like wakes up everybody's Zamir for like 2 minutes. I don't know if you remember that. That's what Paresh Rawal reminded me of. He's like a Zamir ki alarm clock. You know, like he's just waiting with bhavnas and like, you know, all these kind of feelings that he just wants to, you know, like Adhikari, Baba, that like, yeah, it didn't work for me at all. Because I just felt that he was too young to play the role. Like, you need like a A.K. Hingle or something like that. But like, you've got like Paresh Rawal and everybody's treating him like a Baba, like a Dada or something like that. And he's like playing like he's shaking and he's like, oh, all that kind of thing. And it didn't really work for me.
Paresh Rawal is actually very underrated as an actor. I think he did full justice to it. I mean, in the sense that, you know, initially what happens is when you see that he's accused, you know, you do... I mean, I don't know. I felt a sense of foreboding, ominous kind of feeling when I did initially see the character, when we hear about the news headlines about what he's done and stuff. But it's only afterwards when we find out about what his life circumstances are, is when we kind of sympathize and empathize with him. But it's, as an actor, to carry off that both sort of shades in a way, I guess it's not easy to do. And to be honest, I don't think anyone, like, now thinking about it, I don't think anyone else at that time could have played that role better than him. Because really speaking, whilst it was a quote-unquote a supporting character, he was actually the main focus. I mean, if it wasn't for him, then the whole premise of Phir Bhi Dil Hindustani would have faltered anyway. So I think he did very well in the film.
Sujo, you had some thoughts on him too, no?
I think it was like a template role for him. I don't think, you know, he can do this in his sleep. And he pretty much did that, except for the last scene when he's trying to console his wife, where he, you know, just on his judgment day, you know, he's about to get hanged. And he's trying to remind her of the daily routine, of the fixed deposit that they have and all of that. That just, you know, struck a chord with me, and it was very, very emotional, that scene, especially because the actress who plays his wife, Neena Kulkarni, she is known for crying on screen. Like, she can do that like at the drop of a hat, and both of them just work that scene completely. Yeah.
Isn't Neena Kulkarni the one who's coming in Ye Hai Mohabbat right now? As Ishita's mother.
I have no clue. The earliest memory I have of Neena Kulkarni is the Hariharan video, Krishna.
I do think when that flashback happens, when Paresh Rawal is like in his clean-shaven Khalnaik Ballu Balram before Roshi Manta kind of like, role, like everything is fine. The family is so corny, somebody's gonna die, like, somebody's strategy is gonna happen. It's like
he was Bajaj and then became Teja.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, it's like very like Andi Bain and Googie, like Lagdi that kind of thing. Like, tragedy is gonna strike. But I think the problem is that the moment he enters the frame, the movie loses all subtleness. It becomes so obvious. It becomes so corny. And it's like, there's like two forces. There's like, the more Zamir jagta hai, the less subtlety in the movie is left. Waving the flag and, like, Khwaja Mere Khwaja finally gives a hug to Shahrukh because he's a withholding dad. Like, everything is happening in the last 5 minutes. It's like all of those things happen when Paresh Rawal enters the movie, and that's why it kind of like loses me at that moment. When it was just like these competing news channels and, between Shahrukh and Juhi, that part of the movie I really actually quite enjoyed. Amrita, what did you think of the soundtrack? Because this was a big thing, right?
Like I think the big standouts were the title track and the Jogi one, right?
Yeah, Banke Tera Jogi, yeah.
I used to like Aur Kya a lot, and then Abhijit ruined it for me,
But this has a lot of Abhijit songs, right? Like,
he used to be, because he used to be Shahrukh's voice throughout the 90s, right?
Yeah. Yes, boss. Yes, boss.
Yeah.
Yes, boss.
Yes, boss. Mm-hmm.
And can we just put it out there that I'm the Best is one of the most narcissistic songs I've ever heard. Bollywood.
But it's Juhi and Shahrukh singing. I mean, who else can be the best?
I mean, yeah, of course they are the best, and no doubt about that. But this song is just like, yeah, we get it, move on, thank you, next. Like, you know what I mean?
I think the reason, like, I had that same reaction to that song this time when I was watching it, and I think the reason is because like Shahrukh is like so slimy up until like Juhi shows up. Like. After Juhi shows up, he's like a completely different character, and you actually like him because like she takes him down a peg or two, and then she's so awesome and unapologetic about who she is, and then they kind of balance each other out. Yeah. But for that first 15 minutes or so where it's just the Shahrukh show, he is really outstandingly slimy. And you just like want to slap him in the face all the time.
Also, Jaswinder Narula was a thing back then, right?
Yeah.
Where did she go?
Who's that? Know. Sorry, who's Jaswinder?
The female voice of I'm the Best.
Oh, okay. All right.
She also sang Pyar To Hona Hi Tha with Remo.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
One thing about the other one, Aur Kya, by the way, isn't that like so many of those visuals still get used in like ZTV promos and like documentaries about Shahrukh and like heroes intros on YouTube? Like the visuals are so like iconic of what Bollywood is. And they even like rip off Truman Show like wholesale. But it is like beautifully shot, like that song.
And that song, I'm sure, is a love-making anthem for many people.
I don't know, man. That's a lot of like slow, boring lovemaking, man. If you're making love, do it on I Am the Best. Commit to the lovemaking, guys.
It has a definite ending as well.
Plus, it repeats for seconds.
Oh, Jesus. It all happens on the Khandaan podcast.
The other song was also like, and I think it got hurt, Kuch Do Bata, because it was very much trying to be Main Koi Aisa Geet Gaun. But it didn't work as well. But it had like
with being more stockery.
Yeah. It had more Farah Khan choreography, like really Farah Khanish. It does get extra points for adding the word albatta to the lyrics, which is not a word that you hear a lot.
We haven't heard that since Satte Pe Satta.
Yeah, it's so true. But I absolutely love Banke Tera Jogi. I think that song is so profound. Like, beautiful, beautiful song. Like, if you listen to the actual lyrics, it's just, I love it. It's one of my favorite songs actually of all time, I'd say.
And the beat is so great, right? Like, I don't know what it's called, how, like, I'm not musically talented to explain what that beat is, but it's really cool the way they do it. And it's just like such a lively, lovely song, choreographed so well. And you see, like, again, Farah Khan's stamp, because it really reminds you of Main Hoon Na with that Amrita Rao song, which is the
Chale Aise Hawaye.
Yeah, that one. Like the way like whole groups do a choreography and the camera pans and then Shahrukh pops up in behind. It even reminded me of Walla Re Walla from Tees Maar Khan.
Of course it does.
Yeah, of course it does. Everything reminds me of Katrina and Farah Khan working together.
Asim, you're probably the only one who still remembers things from Tees Maar Khan. You know that, right?
No. We have a little group of 20 people that love Tees Maar Khan on Twitter. So
they meet up at Bethnal Green Station.
Yeah. Give a shout out to Anuj if you're part of the 20. Yeah, I think maybe we can start wrapping up unless we have anything else we want to talk about in this movie.
I don't think I've ever heard a more candid review of Phir Bhi Dil Hindustani until I've come on the Khandaan podcast. So, for actually like giving a about the film and actually like analyzing the film to the core, I'm very impressed, I must say.
We are a hatke type of podcast, right?
Yeah, man. This is literally this podcast has no filters and I love it. I think it's great.
I just love one of the dialogues that Satish Shah says in this movie, and that's like it just reminds me of the times when Kader Khan used to write, Kutta palo, billi palo, yahan tak ki saap bhi palo, lekin galat fahmi mat palna.
Oh yeah,
awesome. That's like a mic drop,
Yeah. It is weird to see Satish Shah play a villain though. Like I'm not used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also don't like this Shakti Kapoor, this like no makeup, like subdued villain Shakti Kapoor, because he looks like one of the Bee Gees, like the less talented Bee Gees, the third one. You know which one I mean? Like,
I guess so.
Yeah, I don't like Shakti Kapoor that way. I like him more like Oh Lalita and that kind of thing. But maybe it's just we've soured on Shakti Kapoor now going back maybe. And for me, Shraddha had a lot part in me souring Shakti Kapoor for me. No. It's the other way around.
Okay. She's so terrible. She's ruined her father's work for you.
Wow. We haven't talked about Johnny Lever though.
I don't wanna. I hate him. I can't. Like honestly, like when we, like I have to say, like when we started the concept of Khandaan, I never thought I would have to watch so much Johnny Lever, and it's really making me reconsider.
Say a prayer to your gods that we didn't get Dulhanam Le Jayenge. That's got a lot of Johnny Lever.
We just had him last week on Ahsoka. Like, we have him again here. And I think people actually like Pappu. What is it? Pappu Raja? Pappu Rani? Or Pappu Don? What is he playing?
Pappu Junior.
Pappu Junior, yeah. I don't know. What
I mean, Shahrukh loves Johnny Lever so much, he put him in a prehistoric movie, man.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But anyway, sorry, I'm digressing. Amrita, your turn.
I don't have any turn to say.
One thing I had. One thing I remembered. The sidekick, the guy that actually kills and basically rapes Paresh Rawal's daughter, right? That guy.
Uh-huh.
His Magan Gupta, his name. This actor, like he plays like rapist for the last 20 years of his career. He's like either he's the evil Devar or he's the evil drunk Jamai Raja. Like he's one of the two, or the evil cop, right? But he's always raping somebody. It is really weird. I went to his IMDb because I didn't know his name, and I didn't take a note, so I don't know. But he actually died 6 months after shooting this movie. But really weird. His movies kept coming out till 2007. till 2007, he was in movies that were releasing, he had roles in, and he had died in 2000. And imagine, you're still playing like a rapey brother-in-law 7 years after you've died. Like, how messed up is that? Like,
oh shit.
Oh god, that was intense.
I took it dark, right? I took it a little dark, but
yeah. So he's done like after Phir Bhi, he died in 2000 from a car accident, and he's done movies like Bichu, Tera Jadoo Chal Gaya, Kyunki Main Jhoot Nahi Bolta, and the last movie is Aakhir, which is in 2007.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. His name was Mahavir Shah. I think we have to at least let people know his name, and he's a very known face, you know. Him and
he's that guy. Like everyone knows that guy.
Yeah, but a bad one. That, like, stay away from that guy. In that context, like, stay away from that guy. And the other also, Bharat Kapoor is in there, so there's a lot of like stay away from that guys in here. I did like that reveal where he goes from one jail khana to the other jail khana, and it's like a posh kind of thing that he has.
This is a bit of an offside, but you know, you kind of sound like Karan Johar, Azim. Like you actually sound just like Karan.
I do.
When he doesn't he? Amrita, come on, I'm sure you'd be able to do it.
I've never noticed it. I'm just gonna call him.
I was just closing my eyes and listening to Asim's voice. ऐसा लग रहा था कि मैं actually coffee के कारण पे couch पे आ गया हूँ.
Anuj, this is all conjecture. Do I sound more like him now?
Oh my god, yeah.
On the Khandaan podcast, we are talking about the fraternity of the Khan.
Fraternity. It's all about loving your family. It's all about loving the Khandaan, you know. I think basically what happened, I was screaming when I was talking about Badshah, and my voice has gone since then, but we've been recording for an hour and a half. I think we can start wrapping things up. Amrita, where can people find you online?
On Twitter at AmritaIQ.
Sujoy?
I'm on Twitter at 9E3K.
Anuj, man, it was awesome having you on. I think we need to do this again very soon.
Definitely. No, absolutely. It was so lovely to chat with you, Amrita and Sujoy. I genuinely enjoyed this experience. Like, I just love how you guys give zero f***s about what people will think, what the ramifications of things will be. I think that's great. I think it's great to have honest. So thank you for making my first time so comfortable. I loved it.
Thank you for coming and joining us. Joining us in our madness.
In our zero f***s given podcast. Anuj, man, where can people find you online?
So, my username is sabse lamba, right? So, mine is basically at the Anuj Radia.
Okay.
On Twitter.
And your blog is at FilmeShilmy? Is that?
Yeah, at FilmeShilmy. So, it's FilmeShilmy. So, just in case the people don't go Gerber on anything, so I just spell it out.
And Anuj has some really good content coming out, so people do follow his blog. He's a hustler, man. He's got connections everywhere. He's really, working hard and getting people exclusives respectfully. So I think people should definitely follow him.
Well, thank you, Wasim. Thank you, man. You've been such a great friend, and you've been such a huge support as well throughout this journey. So I must, thank you and appreciate my gratitude, express my gratitude rather. For your support and for your help, and every time we've always chatted, we've always had a great chat, and I think this was the best way to kind of get to know about your world more, and I love this. I think you're doing a fab job. All three of you are doing a fab job with the podcast.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm on at Asim Bernie. You can follow us on Twitter. You can drop us an email. At youpodcasting@gmail.com. The next episode is going to be cops, or maybe cops and robbers. We haven't really thought about it. We're going to put up the poll. Vote for the movie you want to watch. Don't everybody vote for The Bung. Give a chance to the other movies. We've talked about The Bung a lot of times. But Salman fans, zara halke, zara bachke, Hawande, yeah. But thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with a new episode.